dogs. My name is Mrs. McCormick, and I'm going to be reading Dogtown to you today. Chapter 64, The Closed Door. "Sorry, Mouse," I said as I began hopping back to Dogtown. The door was still open. If I hurried, we could slip back inside before anyone saw us. "Wait," Metalhead called. Metalhead wanted us to go with him. Who wouldn't prefer to travel with company? But I knew I had to look after Mouse and me. Even if by some crazy miracle Metalhead's humans wanted him back, they certainly wouldn't want a tiny rodent and a three-legged dog. "Look!" Metalhead shouted. Front Desk was walking up the path. I ducked behind a bush. When I peeked out, she'd locked the door. The shelter wasn't open to the public until 10 o'clock. Management would come back. She'd open the door to air out the place, wouldn't she? But management didn't come back. The door stayed closed. Chapter 65, Last Chance. It's only a few hours. Why not enjoy your freedom for a little while? You can always go back. Why not take a chance? Metalhead asked. I never liked it when dogs used my name against me. It's your last chance. It's your only chance. Take a chance. Give me a chance. So annoying. Anywho, I wasn't about to go with Metalhead. I'll slow you down, I said. It's not that far. No stairs or hills. It's no farther than 3 round trips to the basement. You'll have to wait until Dogtown opens to return anyway. Why not have a little adventure? I shook my head. Don't you want to see my home? Metalhead pleaded. I did, actually. I can't say that Metalhead was a friend then. He was more of a friend of a friend. Quinn liked him, and I liked Quinn. But yeah, I did want to see if everything worked out for him. But that wasn't the real reason I said yes. The real reason was something I didn't want to admit. There were a lot of phone poles up ahead, and maybe they had signs too. Chapter 66, A Discussion with Mouse. Mouse wasn't happy with me. He didn't like it when I took matters into my own paws without consulting him. He looked me in the eyes and gave me a real talking to with his busy little hands. There's nothing like getting bawled out by a 3-inch mouse. Mouse kept pointing to his wrist, which meant we needed to be back by supper time. He had mouths to feed. I had to be back too. It was Wednesday, poker night. Mouse seesawed his head. We'll be back before lunch, I said. We'll wait for Front Desk to go to the restroom, and then we'll duck back inside. No one would miss me. Dogtown was a pretty big place, and I was always moving around. Mouse nodded. He didn't look happy about the plan, but he agreed. Metalhead just sat there, watching. When I told him we were coming along, his tail began to wag, something I had not seen before. Chapter 67, Why We Steal Socks. Metalhead couldn't wait to get home, but he was kind about letting me stop and rest when I needed to. He'd been right, though. I was in good shape from all the trips up and down the basement stairs. It was the telephone poles that slowed me down. Sometimes it was a poster for a play or an ad for perfume. I will never understand perfume. Why would you want to cover up your hind end smell? Humans don't understand why we steal their underwear and socks. But how do you know a person if you don't smell their feet? Mostly, though, the posters were for lost pets. I saw flyers for 2 cats and a dog. The dog had been in Dogtown when I first got there. His humans had found him and brought him back home. See, that was the other thing I didn't like to think about. If you were missing your dog, wouldn't you call Dogtown to see if your dog was there? I'd heard management field calls like that. There were lots of them. Chapter 68, Puppy Love. Of course, we weren't the only shelter in town. There was South City and Pet Rescue. Maybe my humans had called those places. Or maybe they didn't post a sign because they didn't have a staple gun. More likely, they had a new dog, a puppy with 4 legs. He was probably sleeping in my bed, eating from my bowl, and getting petted by my people. Thoughts like these stung. I wished I could stop myself from thinking them. Chapter 69, The House on Spring Valley Road. The trip went quickly. The second I'd get tired, I'd see another telephone pole, and that would get me going again. Metalhead was so confident that I began to wonder if the situation with robot dogs might be different. You didn't have to feed a metal dog, fill his water bowl, or take him on walks. If you got tired of him, you could shove him in the closet. I'd heard management talking about how hard it was to find old robot dogs when she started Dogtown 2.0. On the other hand, closets got full, didn't they? And somebody had given up Metalhead, hadn't they? Anywho, I stopped worrying about Metalhead. Clearly, he knew more than I did about the lifespan of a metal dog. After a while, Metalhead began to prance on his clunky metal paws. He was so excited his tail was sticking straight up in the air. We were getting close to a yellow house with a white picket fence and a wraparound porch. It had a lovely evergreen tree and a small yellow playhouse with white trim, just like the real house. 22 Spring Valley Road was the kind of home a dog only dreamed about. And I was about to tell him that when he said, "I have a gift for you, a token of my appreciation for your help," he had something for us. My mind filled with visions of bacon, glistening with grease, buffalo burgers, and butter-basted beef. "We'll go in through the garage," he said. "June leaves for school at 8:30, and the garage door will open." That worried me. Why wouldn't he go in the front door? But then I thought about the gift, which might be table scraps. I would do anything for table scraps. What dog wouldn't? Chapter 70, The Garage Door. At 8:30, the garage door opened, just like Metalhead said it would, and the car shot backward onto the driveway and into the street. The driver, a teenage girl with blue hair, shifted to drive, then ripped up the road without looking back. If she had glanced in the rearview mirror, she'd have seen a 3-legged dog, a metal pooch, and a mouse steal into the garage before the door closed with a clunk. I jumped at the sound. We were locked in. Metalhead must have seen the expression on my face, because he pointed to a button that operated the garage door. "That's how you open the door. Mouse can climb up, should that be required. Now, I thought you might enjoy some cheese." Cheese! He instructed Mouse to hook a small rope through the handle of a refrigerator. Then he pulled it open and rummaged around in there before producing a plate with 2 cheese sandwiches, a big one for me and a little one for Mouse. The smell of cheese is simply divine. The taste of it is even better. It was almost worth the trip just for that. Have a good day, Bulldogs.